Yay!
In our last video, we told you all about our new plans for a tiny house trailer build that doesn't compromise on space, but does involve us making some serious alterations to our 7.5-ton tow vehicle, Moose. In this episode, we're tackling the first of Moose's upgrades and discovering just how many hoops we'll be jumping through to make our dream home a reality. So what do we do?
I don't know.
The road to off-grid, off-grid.
I think we've gotten very lucky. This is a full rear axle with airbag suspension for a Mercedes 815, which is like only a couple of years older than ours. So the chassis rails are the same. Basically, we can just swap this in for our leaf spring setup. I don't think we're going to keep the axle. All the parts, the hangers, the airbags, like the roll bars, everything that I was going to have to make, we can just put this in instead. We've got a lot of experience of cleaning chassis parts, haven't we?
Oh no. So it's all a bit bigger.
Yeah, it does look a bit bigger. I think it probably came off of like a 12 or 18 ton version of Moose. But it has all the valves and stuff for the airbags. Yeah, the leveling valves and stuff. Last time we were standing right here, I was about to get in the cab of Moose for the first time.
Yes,
it was literally right
exactly
here.
the same spot.
Yeah. Luckily enough, the same truck scrapyard that we bought our truck from also happens to have the exact axle that we need. So cool.
This is a 7-seater.
I know, it's
massive.
It's huge. And she's wide. I've not driven something this wide before, but I suppose I have to get used to it.
So while we get this axle back to the yard, we thought we would just jump on and say thank you so much for the crazy amount of support that we got from our last video and our change of pace, change of plans. I don't know, I think we were expecting more people to not be on board, but it was kind of overwhelming how supportive most of you were. So
It was really nice, yeah.
yeah, so thank you for that. It does mean a lot.
I'm sorry if I haven't replied to your email or message, but so much happened straight away after that video that I didn't want to reply to you with like the wrong thing, or I wasn't quite sure what was going on. So if you did email and I haven't replied, I will, but when I actually know what's going on and I know how to reply to your email. So originally I was thinking of doing our airbag conversion ourselves and making all the parts. I was going to buy actual parts to do it. I wasn't going to make everything, but I'm really glad I didn't, because there's so much more to it than I originally thought. This is the crazy thing. Found this leaf spring and the airbag holder and stuff, and it was £800 for one. We got this whole thing for £600 from the scrapyard, which is amazing. And we could possibly sell the axle when we're done. So we're just gonna try and strip as much off as we can and then get it all cleaned up and see what we're working with. There's all these valves and stuff and wires. I'm not quite sure how it works. A little bit more electronics than I was originally anticipating.
I think we're just gonna have to put our own system in.
Yeah, we've got everything we need to be able to make a really good airbag system for Moose. Even though we've got to take off his legs, he still will be able to shake his caboose, because we'll just lower the airbags and then fill them up and lower the airbags. It'll just be a slow shake. Where should we begin? What bit should we take off first? What do you think?
That bit, because I think it's getting thrown away, but we want the bracket.
Okay. I don't know what else to do next. Okay. We're getting good at taking them out. I'm just going to pop this back in here so we know where it went. Now we can take this bit off.
Okay. Aha. Was there a nut?
No.
It just screwed in there.
Yeah.
And that was okay.
Yeah, first bit. Done. I'll do these bits next. This bit looks easier. We need to bring you up to speed. It's been such a roller coaster. In the last episode we left off and the plan was to convert Moose to a tractor unit officially and then build our own trailer. And literally the next day I realised that just because we want to put a tow hitch on Moose doesn't mean that it needs to be classified as a tractor unit. You can put a tow hitch on a HGV and that's fine. I don't know why I had this idea stuck in my head that it would need to be a tractor unit. But yeah, that'll be fine. And because we still want to have like lots of storage and like cargo space, then it'll basically be kind of like a flatbed with a tow hitch. So it's much easier to put a tow hitch on a flatbed than it is to put a flatbed on an articulating truck. So that's what we're going to do. This is going to be a shortened flatbed with a tow hitch on it. So that's going to be much easier for like DVSA and all the paperwork and stuff because we're not changing from rigid truck to articulating truck. It's just we're changing body type of a rigid truck. It's starting to rain.
Watch, it'll stop raining now.
I hope so. We have moved our marquee.
Get out the rain.
We will not be defeated. Did it work? Hey, nice. Can you imagine how difficult this would be without this? Oh, my bum's getting wet. Cool, so that is the anti-roll bar off. From the looks of things, the bushings actually seem okay, which is very, very good. Oh, you okay?
I punched the diff.
The diff is much stronger than you.
Yes.
Ow! You hit my finger. So where did these bolts come from?
They came from the other thing that
those
we
things.
took off.
Oh yeah.
And the
okay.
small one went at the bottom.
Oh, you're keeping track of everything, right?
Well,
We've got to try and get the airbags off
uh-huh.
next.
It's free. Is that all one part?
I think so.
Feels like it.
Is it making sense now? Okay, that's all the control gubbins. I think what we could do is look at all the part numbers on each of these things and then learn what they do. So moving on to the trailer, we left it off thinking that we could basically build whatever trailer we wanted, pretty much any size and weight that we wanted.
Yeah, we were thinking 4 or 5 tons.
Yeah, give ourselves plenty of room for storing stuff. And then this happened.
Yes.
I have something to tell you about.
Okay.
I've been reading through the emails from people. There was a really helpful one from a guy called Tom, but I've learnt that trailers newer than 2002 have to have ABS.
Okay.
And the tow vehicle needs to also have ABS.
Oh, but Moose doesn't have ABS.
Moose doesn't have ABS. So we can't build a trailer because it then needs to go and get registered if it's over 3.5 tons. And it would then need to have ABS, which we can't do.
Oh, and we couldn't even get someone to make the trailer for us with ABS because it won't work.
No. And we can't really buy one because it would want to plumb into some truck that has ABS.
So what do we do?
I don't know. So that was annoying, but I found a loophole, and that is to get a imported American fifth wheel trailer that's already registered and over 3.5 tons. They'll have brakes, but they'll be electric and they won't have ABS, and that's fine because it's already approved by the DVSA and all that kind of stuff, so we could just use that as a donor. So as long as we don't do anything too drastic, we can rebuild the habitat on top of this donor trailer, and then we've got a 3.5 ton or greater trailer that we don't need ABS and to get registered with the IVA and stuff. That's pretty cool. And we did actually find one that would have been perfect. And it was actually a viewer that emailed us about it, David. We had a nice chat on the phone. That was fun. I've not spoken to any viewers in kind of real life before. So yeah, that would have been great. And then this happened. Yes?
We've had an email back from the DVSA.
Oh, cool. Finally. Good afternoon. You will need to make a VTG10 application for the vehicle with all the details. We'll require confirmation of how the chassis has been shortened. Well, that's pretty easy. Confirmation the vehicle was manufactured with a towing capacity. So a copy of the original approval or the plate showing the towing capacities. We've got that, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
A photograph of the hitch fitted to the vehicle and confirmation that the trailer will not exceed a laden weight of 3,500 kilograms.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that means that we can't tow over 3.5 tons?
Yes, that's exactly what it means. The legal definition is the maximum allowed mass of the trailer is the truck's maximum train weight, which for us is 11 tons, minus the truck's gross weight, which is 7.5 ton, meaning that we can only tow 3.5 tons. I thought that since the moose will actually really weigh about 4.5 tons while we're using it, then you've got 3 tons before you reach that 7.5 ton limit to play with, and I thought we could take that and put it to the trailer allowance, but no, you can't do that. It's based on worst case scenario, so the gross vehicle weight and the maximum train weight. So yeah, our trailer is officially capped at 3.5 tons. So I suppose the few of you that said maybe Moose isn't the correct vehicle for the job, there might be some merit to those comments, but we're still not selling him. We will make it work. So we've got 2 options. We can make our own trailer, or we can buy a donor trailer. So the good thing is, because we're towing it with a HGV, we're not capped at the trailer length of 7 meters, which is what it would be if you were towing it with a car. So we can tow up to 12 meters as long as it's under 3.5 tons. So yeah, those are our 2 options now. It's been fun learning all this stuff, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, so much fun. Elisa's made the decisions for us, because at the end of last episode we had a bit of decision paralysis and we couldn't really figure out if we wanted to, well, how we wanted to proceed, how heavy we wanted to go, length, what we were going to build out of, if we were going to buy one, and it's just kind of narrowed it all down, hasn't it?
Yes. So that's what's happening. Moose is going to be a flatbed and we're towing a 3.5 ton trailer.
We're on our way to look at a 5th wheel trailer. It's super cheap, and it's rated for 3.2 tons.
Yeah, about that.
So it's got an old rundown living space on the back, but if the trailer is good, then it might make a good donor. So yeah, we're gonna go and have a look and see what you can get for £1,500. What did you think of that one?
I think it would be easier to make our own trailer than to fix that one up. I crawled around underneath and the axles were bowing in the
Oh,
middle.
really?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's kind of by design, maybe.
All right, so it was not just that we would rip it down and start over. The trailer wasn't even any good.
The trailer wasn't very good, so yeah, that's no good.
I think the thing is, if we want to get a donor vehicle and then build something on top of the trailer, I don't know if the hassle it would take to tear it all down, dispose of everything, and then make it good,
Yeah.
like, is worth it.
Cool. I had to turn this up to level 3. Never had to do that before. Okay,
Oh, that beast.
cool. You tell me when.
When?
Oh, this thing is unstoppable.
Oh, missed. Bosh.
I've just realised this stuff is kind of stuck inside the chassis rails. We kind of need to take this off. This massive, massive one. Oh, it's bigger. It's even bigger than 30. Yeah, so what's happening is just this whole thing's bouncing around. Might just have to pop some bolts through. Cool.
Every bolt that comes out is like, cool. Look at that.
I don't know why I'm so impressed by a large bolt.
It's just,
Wait, that's
it's just cool, isn't it?
yeah. Bushings look good. I was worried about these. Oh,
Boom.
I quite like it when they're really hard to get out, because it means I actually get to use the tool.
I don't think it's supposed to do that.
It's because it's pivoting around the leaf spring, it's still holding it in place.
Yeah. That one's still got a bolt in it anyway.
Oops.
You did it.
Yeah, but now those leaf springs are still in there.
That's moving.
Yeah, that is coming out. Maybe if we get the crane over this side, we can like lift this up and then it'll put a lot of pressure on the leaf springs and they'll just pop out.
That should do it.
Shall I just keep hitting it?
Yeah. Oh! Oh, I did both of them.
Yay!
I'm glad I was stood there and not in front of it.
Yeah. Now we can just lift the whole chassis up. There it is. These airbags. I shouldn't have leant on that. So just briefly going back to the trailer, you might be thinking, but now with just 3.5 tons, we're back to where we were building on top of Moose. We're just going to have a 3.5 ton limit. And we realised that as well, but we've got some ideas. So Moose is going to have a really good payload still. And some of it's going to be taken up by the trailer because it's a 5th wheel, so some of the weight's going to be on that. But we're still going to have a lot to play with. We're thinking we'll still use really lightweight materials like the fiberglass and stuff. And then we'll take everything that's heavy, like the water tanks, the batteries, the inverter, and we'll put it on a pod that sits on Moose. And then it'll have like an umbilical cord that goes to the trailer. We haven't quite figured all this out. Obviously we'll have to balance how much we can put on mousse and make sure we don't overload axles and all that stuff, but we'll figure all that out, and then we'll make it detachable and that kind of thing, and we haven't quite figured it all out. But if we pull up somewhere, we drop off the trailer, and then we need to go out in mousse, we can come up with some sort of way of detaching this pod. Probably legs, but not as involved and complicated as Moose's legs. So that's the plan.
Yeah, we'll have a light but spacious trailer, and then all the heavy stuff on mousse. And
Yeah.
it'll feel like a real big living space.
Yeah.
In theory.
Yeah. I'm not going to ask them what they think of the idea. Okay, right. So we're just going to lift this up and so we can get to the bolts underneath that are holding the suspension stuff to the axle.
Is that gonna like come crashing down when you unbolt it?
Yeah, yeah, it is. Okay, I have an idea before we get too far, taking all this apart. What if we just take this and just put it on our chassis? Because the chassis rails are the same, and then we've got disc brake upgrade.
Well, the diff is different.
Yeah, that's the main thing I'm not sure on. The gear ratios in this diff might be different, but everything else is pretty much the same. It's got the same airlines and stuff.
Might have ABS.
It might have ABS, but it'll still work without ABS attached. It's just a sensor. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it complicates things with the DVSA, and if they're going to be like, oh, you've got new brakes and you need to get things retested and stuff.
Well, just changing the suspension, like, we have to tell them about that.
Yeah, but it
affects
might be like might have to get like brake forces measured and stuff to make sure. I don't know, you know what they're like. Actually, I don't know what they're like yet. What do you guys think? If we can find out what the gear ratio is in that, and it's not too far off of what we've got, then maybe we should just do that.
Help.
Yeah, what do you think? That's all we've got time for. So we'll see you in a couple of weeks.